Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Cole from the 50 Years Ago in Hockey podcast, and this is a clip from Overtime, our bonus full-length podcast that goes out to our Patreon supporters a few times a month. Overtime is news and analysis that we just didn't have the time to fit into the regular Friday shows, and it's one of the extras we're happy to give our patrons. To find out more, visit patreon.com/hockey50years and enjoy this clip. So international hockey to me wasn't a big deal, but the reasons why we weren't there was important to me because I believe people should be treated fairly no matter what they're doing. And Canada was going into these things, paying the same money, enduring the same terrible conditions and horrible officiating, and in fact, officiating that was basically skewed against Canada most of the time. And we weren't allowed to use our best players, while Russians and other communist countries were allowed to use players whose only job, only means of support was to play hockey 11 months out of the year. If that's not professional, nothing is. Well, Bunny Ahern was in Toronto in July, and he actually sat down with Rex McLeod of the Toronto Globe and Mail, and he tried to state his case on why Canada isn't allowed to use professional players. And we'll just let you judge what Bunny Ahern has to say. Rex McLeod writes that there have been rumors that Canada would be getting back into the international scene, and he said that Rex said that there'd been a suspicion that the International Ice Hockey Federation tournament is deteriorating. That's the World Championships every year, and that European crowds keep looking longingly for Canadian players to come back and provoke a few of the incidents that seem to enliven other tournaments that they played in. Bunny Ahern basically said, that's a damn lie. Well, what do you say? But here's Ahern himself says, we just had the most successful tournament we ever had last March. That's March 1971. Ahern said it in 1961, with Canada in, we realized $300,000 from television. This year, our TV revenue was more than double that, $620,000. Does that mean we're suffering? Bunny doesn't account for inflation or the fact that it's 10 years later and everything would go up a little bit, wouldn't you think? Ahern says, sure, yeah, we'd like to see Canada back in the tournament, but not because we need them. Canada is part of the family, and that's why I would like to see it back in, but we don't intend to make any special concessions to bring in a boat. What about the concessions you make to the communist country to allow full-time hockey players to play for those countries? Doesn't mention that right now, does he? Then he goes on to even gaslight, I guess, a little bit more. Ahern says, I have always protected Canada, but in this country, I'm looked on as a villain, as an ogre. Very true, Bunny. As far as the CAHA was concerned, Ahern doesn't know what's going on with Canada right now with the CAHA, and he says he doesn't think the CAHA knows what's going on either. Bunny Ahern has very little patience for the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association executives or reporters who failed to grasp his logic the first time around. Wearily and laboriously, he repeats himself, and listeners get the impression they must have been incredibly stupid not to understand him the first time. At least that's what Bunny thinks. Bunny says, I've been made out to be a liar in Canada, but lies actually upset me. Why don't they tell the truth? I offered Johnny Esau. Johnny Esau is the sports director of CTV. Ahern offered him $1,000 to go on a television program with Charles Hay, who was a Hockey Canada president, and Earl Dawson, the former president of the CAHA, to answer these criticisms. But of course, there's no chance of that ever happening, according to Bunny Ahern. I would like to get Johnny Esau's take on that. Ahern went on to say that Canada, through Hay and Dawson, had signed to play a series of games against European teams this season. He produced a document showing the schedule, but it was signed only by a Swedish hockey official. The Canadian team would be allowed to use National Hockey League players. The schedule would have had a Swedish team playing 4 games in Canada from September 1st to 10th, a Russian team playing 5 games here from September 15th to 25th, Canada playing in Russia 3 games from October 28th to November 5th, and in Czechoslovakia 2 games November 6th to 11th, and then 3 games in Sweden from November 12th to 16th. So according to Bunny Ahern, a super series involving several countries was actually supposed to be played in the fall of 1971. Ahern says, I have no idea why the Canadians changed their minds. I don't know what they want, and I don't think they know what they want. It's a vacuum.